What's going on, guys? It's been a while since I pushed the record button, so I figured I'd make a video and catch you guys up. Still haven't got to this motor yet. It's just been really hot lately. I accumulated all my parts, and hopefully today I'll get on this. I did discover when I pulled the flywheel off that it only had 2 flywheel shims, and that was the cause of the massive in-play. So that's the issue with that. The bearing seems to be tight in the case. So I think I'll be able to flip that rod over and set the in-play and not have to split the case halves. I'm trying to do this as cheap as possible. They've already paid for 2 motors. So, you know, I want it to be right, but I don't want to have a large expense. So, got the spare motor out of the bus there. It blew up. So I'm having no luck with bus motors. I've built 3 motors for that bus, and none of them have been right except the motor that's in there now. I had problems with the bearings being the wrong size, so I'm suspecting that's the issue with this this case. It's stamped 40 on the top, and that's what I ordered, but I don't think I got 40 bearings, and it's my own fault for not checking the clearance on the case. Obviously it's right in the crank, but the motor rattles like the heads are loose, and the heads aren't loose, so that means the crank's rattling around in there and moving around. So rather than put a bunch of miles on that, I just took it apart, and we'll go through that, try to line bore the case again, and match some bearings up for that one. I also sent another case off to have the same thing done, the South Carolina motor. I kept hearing the heads popping, and it wasn't the heads popping, it was the rod hitting the side of the case. So that thing made it all the way to South Carolina and back with the rod hitting the side of the case. Actually put a little indention in the case where the rod was hitting it. The crank was moving around in there so much, and that was definitely the not the right bearing in that case. So there's another little issue we had here. The SR20 is grenaded. So Hans didn't know that you had to turn the boost down when you run pump gas, and had a little bit of detonation and took out the one of the rod bearings again. So I'm gonna have the crank turn 10 thousandths this time. I'm gonna go with some steel back bearings instead of the aluminum bearings that we got this time. We were trying to keep the expense down, and bought some bearings from one of my suppliers, and they told me they were good, but I knew they were no good when I took them out of the pack because they're all aluminum, and they took the bearing out. And I don't know if I have it here. The rest of the bearings look pretty good, you know, other than the one hole that detonated pretty hard. So didn't really hurt it too bad. Should be able to get it straightened out, and it's not too big of a deal. We'll buy a rod, get the crank turned, and put some decent bearings in it, and he'll put it back together. For now, he's driving the Mustang. So that's what's going on with that under the full disclosure law. But it ran really good for a little while. So I picked up some paint guns. I don't know if there's anybody out there still interested in the paint gun. Some guys had contacted me and wanted to know if I could get any more Sokolas. So I picked up 2 4500s. I can get one more 4500 with a 1.3 tip. And there's also a 4400 Extreme with a 1.5 tip digital that's available also. So here's what the guns look like. You'll get the little Sokola package. You know how to paint, where to hold the gun, all the different parts, how to break the gun down. This is the new 4500 is orange. Sweet looking, matches my bus, sort of like that. And if nobody buys them, I'll use them. So they're on sale for $500, which is a really sweet deal. I want to say they retail for in the high 600s. The digital's right around 8. Here's the 1.4, and the other one's a 1.3. So you could either convert your tip over, or you could use both of them for clear, or one's for clear and one's for base, however you want to do that. Or a lot of guys like the 1.3 for the clear also. So I have those 2 guns. If anybody's interested, let me know. Anybody wants me to bring them up there to the show, let me know. Definitely be going to the show. Booked the hotel room the other night. It's hot in here, I mean really hot. Just got back from Daytona. I got you some video of that. My buddy's in town from Pennsylvania. So we went over there and did the driving experience, Richard Petty driving experience. So that was pretty cool. But it's almost 100 degrees, a little before lunchtime. I'm sure it'll be well over 100 in here soon. So, but that's where we're at. Come out here and try to get this done, knocked out. Hang out with Greg tomorrow, my buddy. Go check him out. And later tonight, me and Hans might ride over to the rally cross that they're having at Daytona. We'll try to get some footage of that. But you can see the shop's just in a big disaster, so I gotta come out here in the heat and clean some of this mess up. Somebody was asking about some of the unusual wear on the pistons. And the way the piston rattles at the end of the bore is when the piston's not loaded in the cylinder. It just, when it gets to the end of the stroke at the top, when it's turning around, instead of it just turning, it starts rattling up there because it's not loaded to one side of the cylinder. Volkswagens and most all cars have a preload, and that's one of the tricks you can do. We used to do that in the old stock car days. We turn all the rods around on a small block Chevrolet, and it puts the piston in the center of the cylinder, and it makes them sort of noisy, but it does give you some horsepower. So you know, you get a little more wear faster on the ring package, and the skirts show no signs of wear. I don't know why. Maybe the oil was really good, and possibly the skirts really, you know, they don't touch a whole lot with the rings. They do a lot less than people think. So when you start adding stroke to the motor, when you make the crank bigger, that's when it starts working the skirt of the piston. So pretty much Volkswagen has it pretty happy with the rod ratio from the factory with the 69 stroke. So you can see the this motor has a lot of ring wear too, but it still has the shiny spot in the center of the ring and the black on the outsides of the ring. And these are all shiny. There's no black left, so we'll definitely put a set of rings on that. And then somebody else was asking about a spring compressor, and this is the type I use. This is a standard type old school spring compressor. You can get these pneumatic operated. This is off the Snap-on truck. S&K sells them. There's a couple different tool brands. If you go online and Google spring compressors, you'll find a bunch of those. And they work for the doubles and the triples on the Volkswagens. On the triples, we have a wire welded from here to here down at scooters. We use that on the Chevy springs because these tend to spread open if you get too much spring pressure. So that's, I think I answered a couple questions there. Did pick up some more parts for the 2110 here. I've got the got a C45 cam, picked up some lifters there, and picked up a new Cushlock disc for this convertible. We'll be using that. Got me a nice little shiny oil cap for one of my motors, and I think that's it. That was enough, and a gasket kit and some plugs. But yeah. So let me get out here and clean up the shop. I apologize for the mess. I'm gonna turn the camera back on. We'll do the end play video. I gotta charge my battery because it's about dead. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the questions, and hope to see you guys in St. Louis here. A couple more days we'll be pushing off. We rented a car, not taking the bus, but definitely will be attending. So I think that's the main goal. So I was considering not going when the bus wouldn't work, but that'd be pretty selfish of me not to go just because my bus doesn't run right. So I do got the bus running good now, but we're not going to chance it. We're just going to rent the car and head up there that way. So it'll be good to see you guys in a couple days. So until then, push the record button and be happy.